Hawaii is not only faces some of the highest gas prices in the country, currently $5.27 per gallon, but our state also relies on oil for most of its electricity. And Hawaii has set an ambitious standard of 100% renewable power by 2045. We've reached nearly 40% renewable power, but families and businesses in Hawaii have had to watch their power bills go up with the global price of oil. Energy storage will be a critical part of our transition to renewable power. How can some of the energy storage technologies you discussed in your testimony help Hawaii meet its goal?
Yeah, thank you for that question, Senator Hirono. I think long-duration energy storage is particularly important for Hawaii, especially considering it's a 100% renewable goal. If you're trying to reach low emissions with a lot of renewables, you either need to greatly overbuild your renewable capacity to have enough extra generation when there's not enough sun, or you have enough storage capacity that you can then save up for those periods. And considering the land use constraints in Hawaii, I think long duration will be really critical. I think some of the best would be some of the metal air batteries or flow batteries that can take up a relatively small amount of land, but can provide a long duration storage.
So that leads me to Mr. Wiley. Your testimony was really interesting, and you're about to make a big announcement in citing a factory where you will produce these batteries. So does that mean that you've reached your goal of batteries with 100 hours of storage?
We have, Senator. We've built over 3,000 batteries in our labs in Berkeley, California, and Somerville, Massachusetts. And the design is proven, and we're ready to scale now to the manufacturing phase.
The Hawaii Natural Energy Institute at the University of Hawaii conducts tests of batteries to assess the durability of batteries in a warm island climate. Would your batteries work in Hawaii?
Absolutely, Senator.
Have you tested your batteries at the Natural Institute?
We haven't, but we are entering a phase where we need to identify third-party locations for testing and start that process.
I hope that you do that. Yeah, I hope you come to Hawaii. I know you're being pitched all over the place in this committee today. Mr. Nelson, earlier this week, we saw the tremendous damage that Puerto Ricans are suffering from Hurricane Fiona, including island-wide power outage for more than 3.2 million Americans. As an island state, Hawaii is also vulnerable to severe weather. And one solution on this challenge is the construction of microgrids, which can disconnect from the power grid when needed and then quickly restore power after storms. The Department of Energy's Energy Transition Initiative programs is supporting Hawaiian Electric, which is the state's largest utility, in evaluating which communities may benefit from establishing microgrids. What role can advanced storage technologies play in building microgrids and otherwise increasing resilience to storms in places like Hawaii, Puerto Rico, and Alaska that are separated from the mainland?
Yeah, thank you for the question, Senator Hirono. I worked on the Energy Transitions Initiative when I worked for Senator Murkowski. It's a critical program for Hawaii, Alaska, also Maine. I think microgrids can be an essential way to back up power, provide resilience in the case of extreme weather, allow systems to be islanded. I think it's really critical for infrastructure like firefighting, emergency response systems to have islanding and microgrid capabilities. And on the topic of energy storage, it's particularly important for black start capability. So in the event of a blackout, it can get the grid going much faster, and that's probably one of its best applications.
So since states like Hawaii, Alaska, and I think you mentioned Maine, are we moving fast enough in the promoting microgrids or whatever we need to do to enable microgrids to be utilized in states like ours?
Sure. Well, in Alaska, almost all of the communities by number are already isolated microgrids. I think for Hawaii and Maine, there's always a lot more you can do to implement the latest technology for grid management.
Such as? What more things can we do?
Yeah. So you can implement better demand management systems. You can have backup grid reliability. Behind the meter storage is also going to be really important. So making sure that those critical facilities do have independent battery systems as well as potentially diesel generators. And I think there's more that I can also provide through the record.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.